Don't eliminate it. In the law, we always talk about the message a sentence sends, even more so in high-profile cases, that the public should appreciate the famous or powerful will be treated just as harshly as anyone else, and that everyone must understand there are consequences for illegal action. Well, this sends the message that if you know the president or the vice president well enough, even a jury and judge cannot ensure justice. This president has been more reluctant than any in the last 100 years to overrule the courts. As they say, the president had the right to do it, but it wasn't the right thing to do. Here now, Republican strategist Karen Hanratty and Michael Waldman, former Clinton speechwriter and current executive director of the Brennan Center for Justice. Thanks a lot to both of you for coming on the program. All right, Karen, no one's questioning if the president had the right to do this. He has the right, he has the legal right to do it, but isn't it in the end the wrong thing to do?
I don't know if it's the wrong thing or not. I never had a lot of real strong feeling one way or another about whether or not Scooter Libby should be pardoned. And I actually think I'm in the mainstream of a lot of Republican voters out there. I don't think there's going to be, parties and thrown across America, except for in, these certain zip codes on the East Coast.
If that's the case, then there's literally no explanation for it. I mean, if you're going to tell me that even the rank and file Republicans are not going to be celebrating, appreciating the fact that the president stepped in, then what is he doing?
I think he's making I think it really is summed up in his statement. I think he did think that the sentence was too much, and
reduce it.
And people are talking about, well, why didn't he wait until the end of his term? Well, because he didn't think Scooter Libby deserved to go to prison. I think that the political ramifications of this commutation are not going to be felt so much by the Bush administration as by the Republican and the Democratic presidential candidates, who are now going to have to weigh in, particularly, of course, Hillary Clinton, who is, all of President Bill Clinton's pardons, which were much more egregious than this one.
All of them were much more egregious than this one, right? All of them.
I think that pardoning 16 Puerto Rican terrorists who were being held in prison for sedition and conspiracy is much worse than what Scooter Libby did, and as is Mark Rich, who was conspiring to sell oil in Iran during the
point is, when you said all, I knew you didn't really mean that. I just wanted to correct you. Mike Waldman, let me read you this statement.
Thanks for correcting me.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want you to feel bad about what you said.
I never feel bad, Dan.
Mike Waldman, the president said this, all right? He said, critics say the punishment does not fit the crime. Mr. Libby was a first-time offender with years of exceptional public service and was handed a harsh sentence based in part on allegations never presented to the jury. So now the president is doing legal analysis here, right? Now he's saying, oh, it's not just the sentence, it's the fact that there was material out there that wasn't presented to the jury. I mean, that's what troubles me.
Well, in his statement, he wants to sound like King Solomon, but he sort of sounds like O.J. saying he's going to search for the real killer. Scooter Libby committed obstruction of justice and lying under oath while he was a senior presidential aide working for this president. In effect, it appears covering up for the actions of himself and other members of the administration. This is not some interesting matter that the president read about in a newspaper. This is activity in his own White House. And what he did was really quite remarkable, because it would be one thing if he said, the guy got railroaded, he was innocent, he shouldn't have been convicted. But what he said was, well, he's guilty, he did these things, and I'm going to make sure he doesn't get punished. And that really is quite remarkable.
But you know what? It's intellectually dishonest, is what it is. They're claiming, oh, it's still, the sentence is intact and lying is not okay, and there's still a fine in place. But, that's all nonsense. The bottom line is, when you're talking about a 30-month sentence and the answer is you don't have to serve that time, that is the issue.
I agree, and the fact is, certainly Scooter Libby, you can be assured, is not in mourning tonight over his prospects. The real question is why the president did it, why he did it now. It really seems as if the accountability muscles are flabby.
I'll tell you why he did it now. He did it now because Scooter Libby, because the judge ruled that he had to begin his term pretty soon, and B, it's July 4th week, and the hope is that it'll fade away and people won't see it.
Yeah, but isn't the bigger story here? Look, if you shouldn't pardon Scooter Libby, then the question becomes, well, who should you pardon? And why do presidents pardon in the first place?
How about nonviolent drug offenders who are getting life sentences?
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go back and we need to